Hey y'all, get ready with me while I talk about creepypasta again. This time I will be doing more unpopular creepypasta opinions. So yeah, I will be doing my makeup and all that shit. And I will also talk about my creepypasta self-insert OC's false star. Alright, first things first. I think a unpopular opinion that I have is that people are way too quick to be like, sorry, I'm trying to adjust. I'm sitting down because I'm in an uncomfortable position. But anyway, I think a lot of people in the fandom need to be more open to diversity, especially in body types, disability rep, and much more. My eyes are huge. Holy fuck. I'm using primer. I'm gonna do my makeup real nice today because I'm gonna go shopping and I'm gonna get my hair cut. I'm not gonna trim a lot of it off, just like the dead ends. I don't know if you guys can see the dead ends. But also, like people need to be more open to like non-conventionally attractive creepypastas. Like realistically, most people do not look like a supermodel. Like, let's be real, most people do not look like a skinny supermodel or super muscular. Like some people are chunky. Like I'm chunky, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have a bit of chub going on. Nothing wrong with that. And yeah, there needs to be way more body type diversity and all of that. And another unpopular opinion that I have is that people need to learn to separate the character from the original creator. Like, Clockwork is getting a fuck ton of hate right now for a different reason. Not just the normal reason being like, oh, her story's bad, which I get the criticism, but it was written by a 12-year-old. At the time, of course, it's not going to be that good. And the reason why Clockwork is getting so much hate is because her creator, I'm not going to say who, because one, I don't remember their name, their online name, and two, they're not a good person. They groomed children, for legal reasons, I have to say allegedly, but they've been accused of some pretty heinous shit. But her creator basically couldn't keep it in their pants around children. Like, that's gross. That's not okay. And I don't think I need to explain why that's not okay. Because, one, children cannot consent to sex of any kind. They also can't consent to being in a relationship with an adult because, well, they are children. And I think that at this point, the creator wants nothing to do with the fandom, so I guess Clockwork belongs to the fandom now. And people need to learn to separate the art from the fucking artist. Like, for real, dude. Y'all need to learn to separate the art from the artist. It's not that hard. And, oof, sorry, my wrists were hurting, so I have to, like, crack them. Crack my wrists the way I want to crack Ticky Toby. I'm sorry. Where the fuck did my foundation go? I don't know where it is. I set it down somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's behind my phone. But people need to learn to separate the art from the artist. But yeah, that's my foundation. Another unpopular opinion I have is that people need to do more research on the disorders that they give their OCs. What I mean by that is that some of the information that they put out is not entirely accurate. And as someone who lives with some of the disorders like schizoaffective, depression, anxiety, autism, ADHD, and also being blind. Yes, I am legally blind, which means I have some vision, but not enough to, like, be fully functional, if that makes sense. But people need to do a lot more research on the disorders they're talking about, because there's a lot of misinformation, especially online and more than just the creepypasta fandom. I think there's a lot of misinformation in general, and we need to do better on doing research on that kind of thing. Like, a couple good sources of information about these kind of disorders I highly recommend y'all look at is the Mayo Clinic, the CDC, the Trevor Project, NAMI, which is National Alliance for the Mentally Ill. They are a pretty good resource to get research from. But, yeah. Where is my eyeshadow primer? There it is. But, like, people need to do more research. Like, I give my OCs disorders, but I make sure to do as much research as I can on the condition, so that way I can portray it as accurately as possible. Like, one of my creepypasta OCs, Cosmo, she has BPD and HPD, which, if you don't know what that is, BPD is borderline personality disorder, and HPD is histrionic personality disorder. Now, I will do a separate video talking about Cosmo and her conditions. I want to do more content talking about my OCs lore. Not just my creepypasta OCs, but my other OCs and other fandoms as well. But people with BPD are basically extremely emotionally unstable and sensitive because of trauma, mainly. There are rare instances where people with BPD do get it from genetics. I've met a few people like that whose parents had it and then it got passed down to them. Which color should I use? I don't know. Well, I'm wearing a Lilo and Stitch outfit today, so I'm gonna do blue. Everything is blue, his hair. But, like, people with BPD typically have a lot of emotional pain that they deal with. Their nervous system is kind of wacky due to trauma. They typically have more, like, childish and also like they have like more childish reactions, but it's not on purpose. It's because of trauma. Like literally their brain is messed up from trauma. And their like body also reacts to trauma. Believe it or not, a lot of people with BPD have nosebleeds because of stress. Yes, that's a real thing. I've had friends with BPD who's like, whenever they get triggered, they randomly get a nosebleed. I'm not even kidding. I've met people with BPD before, and some of them do struggle with nosebleeds. Wow, this is like a bright blue eyeshadow. Holy shit. I'm gonna add highlighter to my eyeballs. But like BPD is basically very, 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 very heightened emotion. Same with HPD, but the difference between BPD and HPD is that people with BPD typically don't act like, they don't do the extreme reactions on purpose. They literally cannot control their reactions because of the way their brain works. And people with HPD basically have symptoms of like histrionic personality disorder, has symptoms of basically very similar to BPD, but there are a couple like additional symptoms that are different from BPD. People with HPD are more theatrical and dramatic and more childish than someone with BPD. People with HPD are very hypersexual. It is one of the main characteristics of HPD is hypersexuality, which Cosmo has to a very, very extreme degree. Like, she is ridiculously sexual. And it's not 100% her fault. She literally has a mental illness that causes her to be very hypersexual, which is HPD. BPD also includes hypersexuality, but it's not as extreme compared to HPD. People with HPD are way more childish too. They love attention, and they basically become attention hungry because either they didn't get it growing up unless they did extreme things or reacted a certain way. Like, a lot of people with HPD like were either sexually or physically or mentally abused growing up. Same with people with BPD. But people with HPD also will like randomly get a bunch of hobbies and then drop the hobby within a couple months, and people with HPD will sometimes like copy other people's behavior for attention as well. And what else? Oh yeah, people with HPD often get into relationships way too fast. That can also happen with people with BPD too, but with HPD is a lot more frequent. People with HPD also typically have other developmental problems. Why is there floof on my forehead? Get off of there. Yes, I use my hands to blend the highlighter. What are you gonna do? Sue me? I'm probably not doing a good job describing HPD or BPD, but basically BPD is extreme heightening emotions, and HPD is having dramatic reactions and childish personality, and also low tolerance for anger or frustration, and theatric and dramatic behavior, and also overly, not necessarily bubbly, but like, not necessarily bubbly or upbeat, but like a very like fast-paced way of going about life and other things. I don't remember all the information about HPD, so I'm gonna have to do a separate video about that. But yeah. Basically, I would highly recommend doing your own research on HPD and BPD, because I am very clearly not doing a good job describing the differences, because both disorders are very, very similar, but also very different in a lot of ways. This is setting spray. But yeah. But yeah, those are some of my unpopular creepypasta opinions.